The greatest threat to your power isn't your enemy. It's your own emotions, your need to be loved, your fear of being alone, your desperation to feel important to someone. These aren't virtues, they're chains, and Machiavelli knew it. He didn't write for the kind-hearted. He wrote for rulers, survivors, and predators. He warned, those who feel too much are the first to fall. The world will never reward your loyalty, your vulnerability, or your love. It will weaponize them. People will smile as they lie to you, hug you while sharpening the knife. And the moment they sense you care, they own you. But there's a way out. Detach emotionally, psychologically entirely, not because you hate others, but because you love your power more. Because survival demands clarity, not compassion. In this video, I'll take you deep into Machiavelli's coldest truth. How to shut off the emotions that make you weak and rule with a mind no one can read and a heart no one can reach. Everyone wants to be loved, understood, and cared for. That's exactly why most people are powerless. Machiavelli understood one brutal truth. Emotions make you vulnerable. The more you feel, the more you expose, the more you care, the more others control you. He wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally, and the fool, he observed, is the man who gives his heart before securing his position." In Machiavellian thought, emotions are not to be trusted. They're weapons, not guides. You can use them, but you must never be ruled by them. Emotional detachment isn't about being dead inside. It's about staying alive in a world designed to destroy the naive. To detach is to control. When you are detached, you cannot be manipulated, baited, or emotionally blackmailed. Your silence becomes a wall. Your stillness becomes a weapon. The moment you care too much, you become predictable. And predictable people are easy to target. Their weaknesses are written in their voice, their face, their fear of loss. Machiavelli saw this in the courts of Florence. Princes who ruled with emotion were outmaneuvered by colder, more strategic enemies. A ruler who loved too deeply would forgive enemies who returned only to betray again. A general who feared losing his men would hesitate, and that hesitation would cost him the war. Emotional attachment to people, power, or pride was always a liability. That's why Machiavelli praised Cesare Borgia. He showed no mercy to former allies who became threats. He didn't mourn betrayal. He eliminated it. That's not cruelty. That's control. Emotional detachment gives you the power to do what must be done, without hesitation, without weakness. Most people are raised to believe kindness is strength, that vulnerability is beauty. That's a lie to keep you obedient. In truth, every empire is built by those who mastered their emotions and used the emotions of others as tools. Think of every betrayal, every lie, every heartbreak. What made them possible? You cared too much. You expected loyalty. You were attached, and when people realized that, they pulled the strings. Emotional detachment isn't about not feeling. It's about not reacting. It's about watching your emotions like a weapon, not a weakness. A Machiavellian mind can feel anger, desire, or pain, but never lets those feelings dictate action. Because the moment someone can predict your reaction, you've lost control. That's why Machiavelli's teachings aren't for the average man. They're for those who rule themselves first. and then rule everything else. If you want peace, stay emotional. If you want power, stay detached. When people try to get close, ask yourself, are they loyal or are they useful? Would they still respect you if you gave them no affection, approval, or attention? If not, they're not allies, they're threats. Detachment reveals truth. When emotion is removed, you see people as they are, not as you wish they were. You start to notice patterns. The friend who only calls when they need something. The lover who pulls away when you stop giving. The family member who uses guilt to control. All of them depend on your emotions to function. Detach and watch them reveal their true selves. In detachment, your time becomes yours again. Your energy returns. Your focus sharpens. You begin to act, not react. That's what Machiavelli meant when he said, "A prince must learn to be both the lion and the fox." The lion does not weep. The fox does not rage. Both win, because they know when to strike, and they never let emotion announce their move. So if you want freedom from betrayal, manipulation, and weakness, begin here. Kill your need for emotional approval. Care strategically, not sentimentally. Most people are addicted to illusions, especially the illusion of love and loyalty. They cling to the idea that some bonds are sacred. But Machiavelli warned, there is no such thing as permanent loyalty, only shifting interests. People are loyal when it benefits them. They love you when they need you, and the moment their interests change, their loyalty fades. That's not evil, that's nature. Those who deny this truth are destroyed by it. The man who believes in unconditional loyalty gives power to those who'll use it against him. The ruler who loves his people more than he fears betrayal is already digging his own grave. Machiavelli understood power demands distance. He advised princes to appear merciful, but remain ruthless within, to project care, but never become emotionally tied, because emotional ties cloud judgment. They make you hesitate when you should act. They make you forgive when you should cut ties, and worst of all, they make you dependent on people you cannot control. Love in its pure form is chaos, unpredictable, blinding, destructive, and in politics, power and survival. Chaos is death. Emotional detachment isn't cruelty, it's clarity. It allows you to see people not as you wish they were, but as they are. You begin to observe, not idealize, to calculate, not hope. When someone betrays you, you're not surprised. You're prepared. You expected it. You knew their loyalty was conditional. And that is the power of detachment. It lets you act without illusion. It shields you from manipulation disguised as affection. The ones who preach loyalty and the loudest are often the first to leave when tested. The ones who call you family are sometimes the first to twist the knife when you fall. Emotional detachment doesn't mean isolation. It means choosing who gets your energy and how much. It means no one owns your emotions. No one dictates your peace. You can interact, collaborate, even love, but from control, not desperation. A Machiavellian mind understands this. Relationships are strategic. Every connection either strengthens your position or weakens it. There is no neutral. So ask yourself, is this person sharpening you or softening you? Are they loyal or just attached to your benefits? Detachment lets you test this without fear. Because when you no longer fear, loss, you become untouchable. This is not a mindset for the sentimental, it's for the powerful, the cold. The focused, emotional detachment gives you the upper hand in every negotiation, every betrayal, every storm, because you walk in prepared to lose. And that's exactly why you win. When you truly detach, something cold yet liberating reveals itself. People only matter as much as you allow them to. Their importance isn't objective, it's assigned. And you can withdraw that assignment at any moment. You stop needing anyone. You choose them. And that single shift changes everything. Suddenly you're not afraid to walk away. You're not waiting for validation. You're not searching for peace in someone else. You become the source of your own balance. That's what makes you unshakable. You turn into the one presence in any room who cannot be baited, guilted, or pressured. And the world notices. People might not understand it, but they feel it. Your emotional detachment becomes a mirror that reflects the chaos inside them. And they either respect you or fear you for it. They'll test you. They'll try to pull you in. They'll provoke, poke, and push. But when you remain still, when you don't react, they collapse into their own traps. Because power doesn't explode, it withholds. It waits. It controls through absence. This level of detachment is rare because it's earned. Built in silence, moment by moment, every time you refuse to beg, refuse to explain, refuse to surrender emotional control, you trained your mind to become colder, sharper, more sovereign. Eventually you evolve into what Machiavelli would call a ruler of the self. Your emotions begin to serve you, not others. Your anger becomes fuel. Your sadness becomes insight. Your love becomes selective. You give nothing to those who haven't earned it, and you take everything from the silence they can't stand. This isn't emptiness. This is power. The ability to feel everything but show nothing, to care deeply but never let it cloud your judgment. Imagine the force you become when no one can guilt you, seduce you, or shame you into submission. When you can cut off toxicity mid-sentence and feel nothing. When betrayal stops surprising you and starts confirming what you already knew. When love no longer blinds you, but sharpens your instincts. That's when you become untouchable. Not because you've built walls, but because you've mastered the gate. The liars, manipulators, and users may still knock, but no one answers. You don't perform for them. You don't offer dramatic goodbyes or desperate returns. You vanish. You observe. You ascend. Remember, emotional detachment isn't weakness. It's the final evolution of power. The quiet strength that separates kings from pawns. The strategic coldness that shields you from emotional predators. And the one mindset that ensures no one can ever own you again. Detachment isn't just defense, it's offense. Once you master it, you don't just protect yourself, you start controlling others. Most people are ruled by emotion. They react when ignored, panic when rejected, and chase what walks away. A Machiavellian mind uses that to dominate silently. By staying emotionally unavailable, you create uncertainty, and uncertainty breeds obsession. When people can't predict your feelings, they chase them. That's power. Show less emotion than expected. Respond slower than they want. Speak colder than they're used to. Create imbalance, and in that imbalance, you take control. Emotional distance becomes leverage. They open up, hoping you'll mirror their vulnerability. But you don't. You watch. You listen. You calculate. They cry. You observe. They beg. You stay still. The moment they realize you don't need them emotionally, they chase the silence. That's how power flips. It's not about aggression or volume. It's about composure. Your stillness becomes their mirror, reflecting their desperation back to them, and in their scramble to pull you closer, they expose themselves completely. Machiavelli warned rulers never to be fully known. Appear compassionate, yes, but hide your true mind. Emotional mystery is dominance. People trust those who seem open, but they obey those who remain unreadable. When you are emotionally silent, others fill in the blanks with their own hopes and fears. They begin to serve you, chase you, fear losing you, without ever knowing what losing you truly means, only that it feels unbearable. This silence, this detachment is a test. Watch how people behave when your attention disappears. Who still respects you when you're no longer emotionally available? Who turns hostile when they can't control your heart? Their reactions reveal everything. Who's loyal, who's opportunistic, who valued your mind, and who only wanted your emotions. But to weaponize detachment fully, you must give up your addiction to closure. Most people crave resolution. They want to explain, to be understood, to justify themselves. That's weakness. Never beg to be understood. Never fix what should be abandoned. If someone violates your standards, detach and disappear. No warnings. No apologies. Your silence is the punishment. Your absence is the answer. When you can walk away with zero emotional residue, you are finally in control. Not of them, but of yourself. That is the root of Machiavellian power. You don't need revenge. You don't need confrontation. Your indifference is the lesson. People will try to drag you back into emotional battles, but when they realize the door is shut completely, no reaction, no resentment, no return, they lose their grip. That's not just strength. That's psychological warfare. You don't shout. You vanish, and your silence echoes longer than any words ever could. If this message resonated with the part of you tired of being used, manipulated or controlled, you're already on the right path. Like this video to signal your transformation. Subscribe to master the mindset of those who rule in silence. From this point forward, your emotions are yours alone, and no one gets to weaponize them again.